is a piece of sour wood. It comes from Tennessee, and we've already cut some notches in it for our arrowhead and our string knot, and to kind of speed up the process. But what we're going to do is straighten it, and we're using a torch and just getting it hot. And you can use dogwood, any type of whatever's native to your area, and any of it will straighten with heat. And just wherever you see a spot that there's a little bit of bend, just heat it and straighten it and hold it. Till you get it as straight as you can get it.
And twist it right, you got a little pattern.
And it's amazing what you can tell when you get hot enough, because it will really bend really easily, and it's not that hard to get it straight. Okay, we've got it good and straight, and I've got a hot melt glue. You can use pine pitch if you want to be really primitive. The thing I like about the hot melt glue is it's adjustable. It dries really quickly, and I can adjust the stone point in the shaft once I get it in there, and it still looks primitive once you get it all wrapped in there with your sinew. You can't tell any difference. Okay, get it hot. You want your point to be lined up both planes. You want it right and left and up and down, and I've pretty well done all the adjustments ahead of time so that point is flying straight this way, and then it's as straight as well that way, and it needs to move over just a touch. Like I say, that's the neat thing about the hot melt, is it's adjustable. Okay, we're done with the torch, and we've got to thin this down just a little bit so when you're shooting it you'll have less resistance with the head going in. And if you try to do that ahead of time, a lot of times you'll split your shaft out. So just get your shaft big enough to accept the point, and then start thinning down where you've got a nice smooth profile where the shaft and the stone point go together. And then we'll brace it up with some back sinew, and it'll suck up really nice and tight. Okay, got our sinew soaking in water. Separate out a nice long thread. Start wrapping. Go through the notches in the point if you have them, and then start wrapping down the base of the shaft. And what you're doing, as well as hafting in the point, you're bracing the shaft to where the point doesn't split out on impact. That sinew is going to shrink as it dries, and it makes for a really nice way of hafting. I run this is good long sinew. We've got plenty of room to tuck that tail in there, tag in, do it another time. Pull it up nice and snug, and then just wrap it on down. I like to take a little bit of any type of glue will work. You can use hide glue if you want. Tight Bond 2 works really well, and just put you a bead of that on there. After it's dry, you can seal it up with pine pitch or some grease. But that sinew is going to shrink no matter what you use, because it's wet and it's going to shrink up on to the shaft and help hold everything together. Okay, for the feathers, there's a lot of different ways to do this. Most people tend to glue them on. We're going to do them with just sinew. They're not going to be glued, and it's a little bit of a trick to get them wrapped around. It's one of those things where you almost need more hands. I've cut a little bit of the feather away to wrap it.
Pretty stout.
It's going to pull down just like that, and then we'll wrap the front. Get these others on here. You can move them around once you get them wrapped on here to make them be where you want them. A bit of glue on there. Some more sinew. Pull your feathers down. Pull them as tight as you can. Start wrapping. You want this front edge as smooth as you can get it, because if you're shooting a real primitive bow, you're not shooting one with the shelf and you're shooting it off with your knuckle, and those feathers will just lay your knuckle wide open if it is at least a little bit rough. So you want to get that sinew to pull those quills down and have a nice smooth area there where the feathers hit the shaft. Put a little glue. You're ready to go. You can trim these feathers up with scissors, and, or you can burn them. But they're basically, that's finished arrow.
Alright guys, so we wrapped up our 4-day bow making class, and I'll tell you what, Mike taught us some stuff that is just really over the top. I mean, his skill level is the best I've ever seen in the bow making world. Guy's probably, you know, built 1,000 bows. He's been doing this since 1995 professionally, and we're going to be running courses with him a couple of times a year, so you really can't get a better deal as far as bow making is concerned. He normally charges, you know, over $1,000 for a solo course where you get to make a couple of bows, and you can come out here and build one for, you know, several $100s instead of over $1,000. And, you know, he's just got all kinds of stuff on his website. I'd really appreciate it if you guys help support him. you know, check out his stuff, pinehollowlongbows.com. He's got everything that you can possibly imagine. And as always, we appreciate your support and any kind of commentary that you can add to these videos. And please help support us by subscribing, sharing our videos, and liking. Thank you always.